The all-new 100.3 The Beat, throwback hip-hop and R&B. This is the all-new Community Connections. I'm your host, Jade, Harrell, keeping you connected to our community.
We've long needed to shift our focus and take some time to place our children at the heart of what we do. Deaconess Foundation and the East Side Alignment have come together for a tremendous event to put the children at the center, literally as well as figuratively, at the Jackie Joyner-Kersee Center, happening on Saturday, June 20th. And I'm excited to have with me Alex Stallings from the Deaconess Foundation. She is the Director of Advocacy and Communication, as well as Evan Krauss, who is presenting in the first big kickoff event of the day. Welcome both of you to the program.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So, Alex, you have been an advocate for community, for family, for children, as far as I can recall knowing you and all the work that you've done. Tell me about this event and how we were able to actually put them at the forefront and focus on them, and about the part of how we came to the event, Children at the Center.
Well, this event is very unique in that there are many wonderful family days with outdoor activities and some of the pieces that we'll have. But the piece that makes this distinct and has the potential for lasting impact is the policy workshop. Mm-hmm. The policy workshop is an opportunity for adults that are caring, advocates, engaged, to really engage with what's happening politically and what's happening with policy that has an impact on our children.
We're starting to discover more and more of a need to address policy. What makes policy, for anyone who may not understand the connection or to emphasize the connection, how does policy make these changes lasting and sustainable?
The laws that we have in place and the statutes set the tone for everyday lives. And as we have children who, to our best hope, follow direction, do what we'd like them to do, make the best choices, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they need support systems. Sometimes they need caring adults around them to help them guide their way and make better choices. As we have strong policies in place and child-focused policies, that safety net is there. And then children fall into a support system rather than a pit.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And so here we are with the event. Tell us about the exciting event that will focus and highlight this key point of change for our young people in our community and what we can look forward to on Saturday.
Deaconess Foundation focuses on investment, engagement, and advocacy. So within the day, we have those three pieces. We have our investments focused in that there'll be grantee presentations for this year's grant streams. Mm-hmm. There'll be an opportunity to engage with elected officials and key people around organizing with issues, and then advocacy. So we actually end the day with a parental advocacy workshop.
Mm-hmm. That part I'm looking forward to plugging into. Nobody gives us a manual. And I tell you what, once the green light is on and you're well into the race, there is a need for support and help and understanding and communication about this. So I'm certainly looking forward to it. Give us the run of the day.
Sure. So it begins with the policy forum that Evan will tell you more about. And as we have that piece, we'll lead to our grantee presentations, which is a wonderful time to acknowledge the recipients of the grants and the good work that is to come from each one of the grants. Mm-hmm. We lead from that into outdoor activities. So we have a DJ, bounce houses, face painting, everything that children can enjoy.
Yeah.
While they are enjoying that experience, we keep the adult learning going.
That's nice.
So we lead into indoor workshops. We also have, as I mentioned, the parental advocacy workshop. Child care is available. So we want to make sure that any parents that would want to attend a session but then still enjoy the day with their children, that they're able to. Mm-hmm. It's a rich day with catered lunch, ice cream trucks. We want to make sure that children, if they're at the center, that they can really enjoy the day, but that the adults in their lives can have some tools to move forward and really strengthen that network around them.
Right. And there is that network when you think of, hey, I want to impart this information on parents, but they're parents, obviously. So how can we help them along and make sure that they can get that experience to implement it into the lives of the children we're trying to help? And that piece many times is missing. So I'm thankful for that. And you say Children at the Center. There's something in the name. Tell me about the name.
Our region makes quite a few decisions around the best ways to move forward. There are many, many people engaged in that effort, many organizations that look to strengthen the region, improve the quality of lives on both sides of the river. Sometimes children are not at the center of that conversation. Other factors are, and that is just a reality of our landscape here. Sometimes cuts are made to budgets. This is the case in Illinois, where many budget cuts took place that were not considerate of children. And so we want to make sure that for this day, and actually for the grant recipients that move forward from this day, from the parents that come out of the workshop, that everyone is empowered and reminded to keep children at the center.
That is the why of all this. Is there any significance of the location?
So the inaugural year, last year, was at the O'Fallon Y, and a great location, and it's wonderful. The footprint of Deaconess serves both Missouri and Illinois, so we wanted to take it across the river and to share the experience with families there. It certainly is still open to Missouri families, so definitely it's just two stops over the bridge, and you're there. But we wanted to make sure to serve both sides.
That's nice. Well, I thought there was some chance with it being Jackie Joyner-Kersee Center and children at the center, that is also the heart of her focus. And so I'm sure of that synergy.
Oh, and she's been a wonderful support, and we'll be in attendance that day too.
That's right. Well, I'm all in. You will see me there throughout the entire day, and looking forward to presenting and being a part of the presentations and certainly the parent advocacy forum at the end. But let's really talk about this policy piece. So, Evan, I want to bring you into the conversation. Tell us a little bit about yourself and background, and then what we most certainly need to understand about policy.
Well, again, thank you for having me part of this conversation. And I just also want to thank the Deaconess Foundation for their leadership in advocating for children to be at the center. Not only I view it as the center of what our decision-making to be, but also they do a lot of work in making sure children are at the center of the change, empowering and equipping youth to lead. And so I just wanted to make sure we acknowledge that. My role, I have the privilege of serving as the director of a collective impact process known locally as Eastside Aligned. It's not an organization, it's not a coalition, it is a process, and it's a process in which we are trying to align policy, practice, and investment across various sectors to improve outcomes for young people. So you heard the first thing we're looking to align is policy. And when we think of policy, we think of it in the sense of a big P, which is the legislation, the various bills on local, state, federal government, but also talks about the little p, the organizational policies, the implementation policies. How are all of those things best aligned for kids? So that's a little bit around our work. Eastside Align was birthed by a collection of agencies within Greater East St. Louis, as well as School District 189, who came together with a commitment to do business differently. They realized that they were making impacts with the kids that were in their catchment, but they weren't moving the needle on a population level. And so they've come together, they've drawn up quite a number of stakeholders, they've engaged youth from the beginning, empowering them to lead community forums and various others engagements. So you will see youth part of our policy session on Saturday morning. So in terms of the session, what we plan to do is, give a quick overview of what Eastside Align is, what we're hoping to achieve, then get into the nuts and bolts of what happened this past legislative session. A great deal of attention, of course, has been around, as Alex mentioned, the Illinois state budget and the many unknowns that are still to be decided. There have been cuts that have happened, been retracted, proposed, pulled. We are still unclear on what will happen by the end of the special legislative session that will take hold. We do know that there will continue to be impacts for kids, and we're going to be talking about that. We're going to get very much more specific on what that looks like. But we're also going to highlight what were some of the bills that passed and didn't pass that have a direct result on kids. One of the bills that didn't fully advance was a transportation bill. in communities like East St. Louis, and particularly a particular neighborhood, there are kids that aren't going to school. And the reason for it is that to get to school, they have to walk through some pretty dangerous areas. And so without the transportation resources available to them, they're missing school. So there was a legislation in the House, in the Senate, that was trying to accommodate that and just didn't move forward. So we're going to talk about those various things. We're going to talk about actual data on kids. We have coming from Chicago an organization called Voices for Illinois Children that puts out an annual kids count report that really breaks down the numbers of what's the rate of poverty and various statistics. We're going to bring that all together, and then we're going to toss it back into the participants' hands and say, knowing what you know, knowing what you experience on a day-to-day basis, what should the priorities be moving forward? And we're using this event, and when I say we, the stakeholders for East Side of the Line, we're using this event to help carve out and build the East Side of the Line policy agenda for the next year. Mm-hmm. And so we're really excited about that. I think the energies and the intentionality of the Children at the Center event will really help us build a strong agenda that does put children at the center.
I'm very excited about it as well. We've come to know that in the polls and where we would place our voice and support and affect the change, the numbers are low for engagement or full, robust engagement. And that's across the board. Help us understand why that is and really what needs to happen. Is there an understanding that needs to happen? Is there a connection that needs to be made? Why is it with something so critical, like the example you gave, the children can't get to school because of the transportation they need to get to school safely, and there's legislation behind that makes it possible? Why then aren't we running to that rescue and response?
Well, if I may, I don't have all the answers, but one of it general is awareness. But the other piece is, and this is something I think because of the Deaconess Foundation, we're seeing changes, and that is there's not resources and infrastructure at scale to equip parents, residents, community members to even know how to start engaging in this process. And I say that's changing because of some of the grant recipients that the Deaconess has funded. There's an organization called COFI, which stands for Community Organizing and Family Issues, that are training parents in how to be empowered and how to organize. Another grant recipient has been the Wyman Center that has really dug their heels in developing a comprehensive youth voice and leadership initiative that is saying, how do we create platforms for youth to be engaged, and what are the skill sets we not only need to train the youth in, but actually train adults to be thinking about how we better engage youth. So I think, with Deaconess taking the lead on this, if there are other funders who come around funding these capacity building efforts, these infrastructure efforts for creating a platform for engagement, we'll start to see that change. So on one hand, yes, it's awareness, and I think we'll always be trying to tackle how to best get the message out there. But if we don't really have committed resources to equipping people to let them know they have voice and sharing how they can use their voice, we'll continue to not have people running to, whether it be Jeff City on the Missouri side or Springfield on the Illinois side. That's one avenue. I think one other barrier that Deaconess helps to help us overcome is providing funding for vehicles and transportation to get to and from Jeff City or Springfield.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Here's where I see that this is unprecedented, and I love what's happening here at Children at the Center. We can have great, fun family events, and we'll play, which is good, and we'll connect and we'll commune, and this is great. And here, you're putting it right there. We're having the conversation right there. We're implementing it, engaging it, making it organic to what we do and talk about. Just like at a family reunion, if we got to go over some of the family business. So this, I hope, sets a precedent that we always include and make sure that we include. What better opportunity do we have than to have us all together anyway, than to create the awareness and share what we could use going forward. We have not because we ask not or speak not or share not.
And what's going to be powerful at this event is there will be legislators there.
Yes.
It'll be the opportunity for legislators to engage with the families, and we all collectively discuss these issues. And I think that's another added piece of policy. You don't normally see. Usually, you see legislators at these events for a photo op. But this is a little different. They know they're coming to listen, and they're coming to engage and to inform.
That's right. That's right. So then, I'd love for you to answer one more question before we wrap up, and that is, to the issue of people not knowing how to start to get engaged. You know, it's a big thing to comprehend how it all works. Where would you direct our listeners to start?
So where to start? So Eastside Alliance footprint is focusing on the greater East St. Louis area. I do want to mention that the same work of aligning policy, practice, and investment is happening on the Missouri side through Ready by 21 St. Louis, focusing on St. Louis City, St. Louis County, and St. Charles County. We plugging into these efforts is one way to start. We are desiring the voices of parents and youth. So either going on to the website eastsidealign.org or going to the Ready by 21 website is currently housed on the 9 network. So it's 9net.org/We Are Ready. Those are two avenues to start, and from there we can plug into a variety of resources because it's really not one shoe fits all.
Yeah.
Through our process, though, we do have, and if we don't have it now, we will, all the organizations that can get you there. And I'm sure, to toss it to Alex, of course, I'm sure you have a couple of suggestions as well. If
you are hearing this and you are a child advocate, you're hearing this and you think that children should always be at the center, come join us. Join us in the effort. Join us. It's deaconess.org. We are where you are. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, we have an e-newsletter. Join in the activity and the action. There's a place for you. Between our organizations, this event, we have a policy advisory board that will be starting and creating a policy platform to move forward. There is a lot of activity. There are a lot of great groups engaged, but not you yet. So, again, if this is speaking to you, come join us in the effort, and we will find a place for you.
Absolutely. And if you've ever been intimidated or overwhelmed or shy to this idea, here's a chance to overcome that. Lean into that discomfort a little bit. It's not going to be all hard-nosed information. We are going to have a good time. We're going to have a great time with great people at a great place for a great reason. But this also is a great way to make it all work out, make it all work together for good. So we invite you. We will see you next week at the Jackie Joyner-Kersee Center.
It start at 9 and run through 2:30. Jackie Joyner-Kersee Foundation has its own Metrolink stop.
How about that? No obstacles, folks. No obstacles. So the invitation is there. Evan, send out the invitation as well.
Yes. So, to echo Jade and Alex, please come out. We know that kids are our priority, and this is your time to live out your value there.
Facebook has a listing of all of the events for the day, and then individual invitations to key workshops. All workshops are free and open. We have activities for all ages, so don't leave anyone at home. Mm-hmm. Don't leave anyone with grandma.
Everybody can come. Everybody can come. And if you don't want to leave somebody at home, bring them too.
Yes, indeed.
That is perfect. Well, we will see you there. Children at the center. This is our time. Deaconess puts children at the center of the conversation. The festival includes advocacy forum, parent organizing, grants, and a service fair, and lots of fun. Make sure you join us Saturday, June 20th from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the Jackie Joyner-Kersee Center. When we come back, I'll tell you what's happening in the neighborhood, your community calendar right after this. The all-new 100.3 The Beat, throwback hip-hop and R&B. This is Jade, Harrell. Here's what's happening in your neighborhood. You still have an opportunity to experience Black and Blue. Jatana Productions presents Black and Blue by Lee Patton Childs, an original play of hope and healing exploring the assumptions that all young black men are dangerous or that all cops are bad. Friday and Saturday, June 19th and 20th at 7:30 p.m., as well as Sunday, June 21st at 3 p.m. Reservations are required. However, admission is free. For more info, visit gitana-inc.org, GITANA-INC.org, or call 314-721-6556, 721-6556. And don't forget tonight at the home opener for the St. Louis Surge that all basketball players, youth grades K through 12, arrive in your team uniform or jersey and receive free admission. Represent your team at all Surge home games. Tip off at 7 o'clock tonight at UMSL 225 Mark Twain Building. Streaming live at stlsurgebasketball.com.
All right, that's it for this week. If you have questions or comments or have something you'd like to submit for the community calendar, you can leave a message on a message box at 333-8369, 333-8369. And for more information about today's show or any of our guests, visit us online at 1003thebeat.com. Look for us next week at 7 o'clock and each Saturday, the all-new Community Connection on 100.3 The Beat. Throwback hip-hop and R&B. I'm Jade Harrell. Be blessed, do bless, and bless the Lord.